so thank you for joining us, and I'd like to take a moment and ask you a few questions, because we know Joseph Willrich, a very learned fellow, traveled the world, traveled the world, explored and adventured. So, why would you tell us about, what really goes on in heaven? Heaven. So heaven is a place that's described in various cultures and spiritual paths. There's a place of delight, after death, or in the afterlife, or in the next life. So what really goes on? Is it people reading, people walking the gardens, or what? Tell us what seat that's in heaven.
Yeah, so thank you, Frater Markov. Frater Markov, know you are an initiate of Ordo Templi Orientis. Yeah, so perhaps you're not very much in the green, like a total neophyte. But I'll still answer to the general audience with what I think, because from my explorations I've found that heaven must be some place that is kind of, in a basic sense, is different from a baseline life, or what you call basal life experiences. Just like, for example, most people experience climax in a sexual act, what is described as orgasm. Orgasm is a very fantastical, very exhilarating, very thrilling experience, but it's not indefinite, it's not eternal, it just comes in that moment and then goes off. So, but then heaven, of course, some people maybe with spatial abilities or spatial endowment or circumstances might experience heaven while they're still alive, like we've seen in the scriptures instances of the Savior Jesus Christ that experience bits of heavenly delights in this lifetime when they're still in the body, like the moment of the transfiguration and other such moments. However, when we look at literature scurrying about in various written scripts and books and various literature and cultures, find that in Christianity they see heaven as a place of eternal peace and joy. So it's a place of eternal peace and joy, and in some interpretations, believers think they'll only be doing work as a worship God in heaven, and live in harmony, enjoy the presence of God. So Christians think when they die and go to heaven, the only work they'll be doing is to worship God. This is depicted as worship and service to God without burdens and struggles of earthly work. So they'll be worshiping. There is no need to eat. There is no need to drink. There is no need to grow crops or rice. There is no need to clean the house in heaven.
Yes, really, you're right. My background is beaten esotericism and occultism, but I not talk for everybody. I really appreciate what you said there about Christianity. It's really fantastical and it's exhilarating experience to think that, heaven without work, without having to do the chores of normal base mundane life. So what about the other, religious lineages and traditions? Tell us a little bit about them.
So well, concerning the others, for example, my research on spirituality has revealed to me, for example, that in Islam, you find that they talk of Jannah, the paradise, Jannah. And in Islam, this is a place of eternal reward and pleasure for the faithful, so those that have been believing in the revealed message and words of the Lord, the God. So it is described as a garden with flowing rivers, where believers enjoy peace, where they enjoy comfort and the company of family and friends. So the Muslims, the Islamic believers, trust that heaven is a place where they'll be with their friends, with their family, just having fun. And this, the work in Jannah is more about enjoying the blessings and rewards granted by Allah rather than physical labor. So you'll not be having fun out of, for example, waking up and going to a company and writing ledgers or filling books with records or analyzing things, but you just be hanging out, with friends and just having fun, maybe eating on fun things, or they're talking of a garden, something with maybe you have lots of fanciful fruits around and honey and this kind of thing. Whereas in other Oriental traditions, for example, Hinduism and Buddhism, these religions, they have various concepts of heaven or higher realms where souls may reside. So souls may reside based on their karma. So karma is a kind of like a principle of kind of a responding to previous acts. So something happens and then there's a reaction that follows after, or an effect that follows after naturally or by law later on. So that's karma. So these here, Buddhism and Hinduism, they believe that the work in heaven then would be mostly involve spiritual growth, kind of like address previous dates or voids or gaps in your advancement or your growth as a spirit, as a spiritual being. And this here also means that also most of what happens in their heaven is about enjoying the fruits of good deeds, like virtuous life, virtuous existence. So preparing for future incarnations, because Buddhism believes or teaches that after death there's a chance or possibility that the person or the soul will come back in another life, will come back in another aspect, another place or location, a different person, but with a kind of a linkage to a previous life or existence. Whereas in Judaism, mostly in the Middle East, the Hebraic traditions, the Jewish thought of heaven, when we talk about Gan Eden. Gan Eden is a place of spiritual delight and closeness to God. So the souls of the righteous, they'll be enjoying the presence of God. They study the Torah. So the Jews believe that in heaven, those in heaven, part of their work, they will be still to study. You'll die and go to heaven, and then you'll have to study the Torah in heaven. This is part of the work of being close to God, study the Torah. So the work here is more about spiritual fulfillment and intellectual pursuits. This could be musical pursuits, could be literal, could be artistic, could be mathematical, could be philosophical. But essentially, it's about nourishing and advancing the spirit, the intellect, the mind, the higher self, a kind of evolution, metamorphosis from a lower experience level, a lower consciousness level, a lower knowledge level to a higher level. So closeness to God being a kind of gradual process, advancement along the path towards illumination or towards enlightenment. Ultimate closeness to God, perhaps being part of the God form itself.
Yeah, so first tell us, from your perspective or experience, because you've written a very interesting book, Shrines of the Free Man. Those of you who've not read Shrines of the Free Man, it's a novel, creative fiction by Joseph Willrich Lutalo. So, could you please tell us what you think about the concept of heaven from an African esoteric perspective? What would you say about that?
Thank you about that. Yes, true. I've written that novel, and part of the inspiration was to share with the world part of my experiences in learning about the esoteric aspects of African mythology, African mysticism, and esotericism. From an African perspective, of course, I may not generalize for all of Africa, but from the context that I'm aware of most importance, most Africans look at heaven as a place that's removed from ordinary experience on earth. So for most African esotericists, heaven is a place that is above. It's in the air, it's in the sky, it's in outer space. For example, mu Baganda bogera eggulu, that's a place that is in the sky or above the sky. So heaven, so you'd think that the concept of heaven, of life after death, is of a spirit or a soul, jabaite impeu okwambuka. So even you find that in some contexts they speak of yabuka, meaning that especially when they talk of twins, for example, that when they die, they jump, they go up. So talking of also other contexts, for example, you find in Chwezi and Nyobo mysticism, they talk of Iguru, again meaning something that is up, Iguru, like of course where the sun dwells. And in the novel Shrines of a Free Man, I've talked about the place or a state of mind called Kitara. It's a very idealistic place, utopian kind of experience where the fine things that we cherish when you're in the lower life actually above. They're in a higher state. So that's kind of about it.
Right. So I feel you there, and I would like to really appreciate that you've given us this kind of a discussion, but maybe away from religious ideologies and principles. What about, philosophical? What would you say, for example, what would a philosopher say about heaven? What happens there? What happens there for a philosopher?
If a philosopher was to die, what do they expect to find in heaven?
Yeah, so Markov, you really ask a good question there. Philosophy perspectives, might vary based on the tradition and movement, and also the generation, the ancient philosophers, the first generation philosophers, Renaissance philosophers, modern philosophers. But generally, you find that some philosophical views, they see heaven as a metaphorical state of enlightenment, metaphorical state, of kind of an awakening, ultimate happiness, euphoria, a euphoric state that you undergo as an individual when you've attained your highest potential, and you live in perfect harmony with the laws of the universe. It doesn't have to be in the afterlife. So philosopher doesn't need to die to experience heaven. A philosopher might be in heaven on earth. They might be in heaven in their dream state. They might be in heaven while they're exploring some intellectual work or intellectual pursuit. A philosopher could go to heaven just by watching the sun, or sitting in the rain, or swimming in the lake. Those kind of moments that distinguish certain experiences from mundanity, from basal existence, from the ordinary lower state. For a philosopher, perhaps that would be heaven. So when you talk of the kind of work they would experience or do in heaven, for a philosopher, perhaps it would be mostly the absence of ordinary work or low work or mundane work. It'd be something like just letting go and being in harmony, being part of the grand cosmic comedy, for example. Something like that.
Alright, so thank you so much, Professor. I know that you're also a very great adept and metaphysician especially of the lucid state and various aspects of esoteric metaphysics. Thank you so much. I really look forward to hearing more from you. The Illuminates of New Tracy have really had a very terrific contribution to exploration and understanding of modern esotericism. Thank you so much. Your work is on academia, your work is on various parts of the internet, and really scholars and seekers surely would pick a lot from that. Thank you so much. We look forward to a terrific kind of interaction in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Markov, and look forward to also hearing back from you guys.
Haraka picha hakutani ukaleta yesitani wezaleta mine hani ezo Bible Illuminati.